Sometimes it's easy to get in front of this camera and tell you guys exactly how I feel. Other times, I really just turn it on, speak from the heart. And as you can tell, right now we're going to talk about the dying breed that is former NASCAR drivers and the older NASCAR generation that will soon be by us. Let's talk about it here on Stuck in the Catch Fence. Hello guys, welcome in. It's Hump Day. Hopefully you're getting through the rest of your week just fine. Man, I've been thinking a lot here recently when it comes to NASCAR and really what we're losing. The Daytona 500, now as you've watched the live stream, now that you've watched my post-race breakdown, it just still has a bad taste in my mouth. You know, we talked about how the legitimacy of the two biggest trophies in the sport, they're no longer there. How luck is determining how we see the sport and how other people see our favorite sport. And I look and I go, well, what is the hope that it changes? And I don't look to the young drivers to change it. I actually look at the drivers leaving it. There's a lot to be said. There's a lot of drivers that have their own personalities and what people think of them. But let's look at it this way. Kyle Busch is in his mid-40s. Denny Hamlin's in his mid-40s. Martin Truex Jr. is gone. We've lost Matt Kenseth. Mark Martin's been gone for a long time. Jeff Gordon's been out of it for a long time. The car has changed. It's a lot easier to drive. We've had a lot more winners because of it. But what we're losing is this sense of group of people that did things the right way. You look at the younger drivers that we have now. John Hunter Nemechek, Cole Custer on Sunday causing 2 wrecks. Joey Logano, your 3-time winner in the sport. Carson Hocevar and what he's done and the reputation he's gained. Kamikaze Carson. The sport will not change unless the mentality of the drivers change. That this is more than just a crash fest, a wreck fest, a destruction derby. This sport is supposed to put the best drivers in the world on the track where they are the difference between winning and losing. We've taken the guesswork out of the car. We've gave you the Legos. All you have to do is get behind the wheel and man the best race. And instead, what we constantly are fed are late race restarts, overtime after overtime after overtime, because the respect in this sport is gone. The respect for competition is gone. It's almost like a generation that grew up playing on iRacing and playing on video games where all they have to do is press start and restart is now taking their talents professionally and thinking they can do the same thing. When you have somebody like Cole Custer who wrecks half the field, when you have somebody like Joey Logano and Ricky Stenhouse, a Daytona 500 champion, and Joey Logano, a 3-time champion, when those are the people that are brought forth to lead your sport, this is what happens. People get upset, and the longtime fans are going to leave if they don't believe that watching this race is going to have a true outcome of actually who was good that day. My man Kyle Busch, as you're probably wondering, some of you, how could you include him in this list? I wouldn't have 15 years ago, but I do now. Kyle Busch is one of the most respected drivers on the circuit. Say what you want about Denny Hamlin, but Denny Hamlin has put himself in positions to win more often than not. And if you have instances where he puts people in spots, it's probably people that deserve to be put in those spots. Remember, Denny Hamlin was just the hero 3 years ago when facing Kamikaze Ross Chastain. Remember when Ross Chastain was on a Burn It Down tour? A part of me understood when this crazy driving, this lack of respect first started, because the car was putting them in this position to do so. But now when you see it go through the ranks, and believe me, Ross Chastain's not a young driver. I mean, he's in his early 30s. But when you see it moving from the ARCA series to the Truck series to Xfinity, and now we're full-fledged. We have to wonder during our super speedway races if the drivers are driving 100%. Guess what? They're not. We have to wonder in our cutoff races for the playoffs if drivers are driving 100% to try to finish the best that they can, or are they forming a barrier to prevent other drivers from making it into the Final Four? Guess what? Yeah, they are. They are manipulating races. They were not driving the best of their capabilities. And we as the fan are somehow supposed to believe that the trophies given at the end of those races are legitimate. And it's not the legitimacy that could have been questioned back in the day when it was in the aspect of competition to be the best. We used to have to question if a car was legitimate because Jimmy Johnson's crew chief, Chad Canals, was telling him things to do to the car because he was trying to win. Whenever they were trying to add space glue or space foam in the engines like Michael Waltrip Racing was doing, because they were trying to win the race. There was creativity on trying to win. Now we have to have creativity on trying to survive. And with this death will come the death of this motorsport if something does not change. There is not going to be a Kyle Busch to tell these kids how to drive. There's not going to be. You know why? Because he's not even in the younger series anymore. He doesn't own the younger series anymore. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is not going to be there. What if he goes Cup racing? Then the people that have come up through Dale Jr. from the Xfinity series, they're not going to have that voice to hear anymore. Dale Jr. is a guy that still believes you should do things the right way, because Dale Jr. more often than not did things the right way. Who's going to be that voice? Tony Stewart's gone. Who's left? Who's left to tell these young drivers that you have to develop a racecraft? Nobody. And you want to know why? Because the almighty dollar is what's king in this sport, and Michael Jordan has proven that, and that's maybe the only hope that we have left, is that Michael Jordan and Front Row Motorsports together can win this lawsuit to change this model. But as long as the almighty dollar is what puts butts in seats and rides and not overall talent and not overall racecraft, then NASCAR is heading to a future that is most certainly like a 23-car pileup with 20 laps to go at his Daytona 500. You cannot fix this sport by putting people in rides based upon money. Helio Castroneves does not deserve a spot in the Daytona 500 more so than Jimmy Johnson, or God forbid you tell me that Mike Wallace couldn't do a better job than what the hell we saw out there for the ARCA races or things like that he probably still wouldn't have been able to qualify for because of the way NASCAR does things. But you know why Helio gets a spot and Mike Wallace doesn't? Because of money. Well, guess what? You can live rich today, but if you have no plan for your future, you most certainly will be bankrupt in the days to come. This sport and this breed of NASCAR drivers going through the ranks, finding out the tough way. We don't allow drivers of the higher series even to race in the lower series, so they get that opportunity to know what's wrong when they face the likes of a Kyle Busch in the Xfinity series, when they face the likes of a Kyle Larson or a Chase Elliott racing in trucks. Instead, it's all like-minded rich kids who are giving these rides not because they can drive, but because they have deeper pockets than people that are actually good at the sport. The model of NASCAR is screwed up, and we're going to end up losing our favorite drivers of yesteryear because they no longer can take it. When you listen to Denny Hamlin talk about retirement, which I've never done, I've never heard Denny Hamlin talk about retirement before until he got onto his podcast, Actions Detrimental, and you could hear how dejected he was because there's no solving it because the NASCAR body doesn't believe it's a problem. And if a breed of drivers are going to die when it comes to being sacrificed for the almighty dollar for entertainment, the sport's going to do the same. Something's drastically going to change. And I tell you what, I didn't get to listen to Ryan Preece because I did the race review. Ryan Preece agreed exactly with what I said. Not trying to pat my own back, but literally emphasizing this. That if something don't change, there's going to be a driver that doesn't walk out one of these cars. All in the name of entertainment. And that's a complete 180 from what we did, what most people believe the day this sport died when Dale Earnhardt died. We're going all the way back from making safety changes to do what's best for the drivers to now going back to doing what's best for entertainment. I hope NASCAR figures it out. Otherwise, pray that Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, and Front Row Motorsports do. That they win their cases. Because as long as this becomes about the almighty dollar, we the fans are the ones that suffer. We the fans that invest hundreds of dollars, thousands of miles driving, and hours upon hours sacrificing days on our Sundays to enjoy this will be left scratching our head going, what the hell did I just watch? And why in the hell did I just watch it? That's going to do it for this episode of Let's Talk About It. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you think. I feel like I've been a lot of Chicken Little here recently, yelling at the sky and thinking that it's fallen. But I'm not normally in this position to be the one that rants. I'm not normally the one that, I try to look at things from everything's going to be all right and everybody else just likes to yell on the internet. That's typically not me. If you just now joining Stuck in the Catch Fence and, are subscribing, maybe you think that's what my normal attitude is. But I promise you it's not. I watch this sport. I have all this stuff because I enjoy the hell out of it, not because I like to get on a camera and yell at you guys. So let me know what your thoughts are. Too far, not enough. I enjoy it. If you are here and would like to hear more NASCAR news, stay tuned and subscribe to the channel and like it. Help us on our way to hopefully 2,000 subscribers here in this NASCAR season. But have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. And like always, stay safe and God bless.